Stem Cell Research. Welcome everyone to another episode of Talking Heads, with me, Keith Smith. Please remember, as with all my Talking Heads videos, these are my opinions. I don't expect everyone to agree with me. On the contrary, I expect many people will disagree with my views, and that's great. The way we change and evolve our society is through discussion, argument, and a healthy exchange of opinions. So all I ask is, whether you agree or disagree, don't forget to click like, and if you feel moved to, please leave a comment below. Okay, so most people have heard of stem cell research, but not all of them know what it is. Stem cells are the building blocks of life. When an egg is fertilized, the cells that evolve into the various elements of the body, skin, organs, bone, blood, nerves and neurons, absolutely everything, all develop from stem cells. Put simply, the DNA inside each stem cell carries a checklist, as each element of the body gets constructed by a set of stem cells. That component is checked off, and the next group of stem cells are tasked with building the next piece. In reality, it's a lot more complex than that, and much of the building is done at the same time, but you get the picture. Stem cells can be instructed to build any part of the body. The reason there is so much hope for the future development of cures and therapies for some of the most devastating conditions like MS, Parkinson's, MNDALS, Alzheimer's and hundreds of other killers, is because we know exactly how to make these cells repair specific body parts. For example, we could use fetal stem cells to repair the pancreas of diabetics and cure diabetes permanently. Stem cells are already used to develop potential therapies and treatments, but there is so much controversy around their use that many researchers just will not associate themselves with stem cell research. Okay, so not everyone understands the reason why there is so much angst around stem cell research. Most people don't really understand the absolutely incredible life-saving and life-changing opportunities that stem cell therapies could bring. Now I have probably already given an indication that I am in favor of deregulation of stem cell research, but I will try to do my usual devil's advocate thing, and present the case from the religious group's perspective, but don't be surprised if I cover the contradictions as thoroughly as the faith-based justifications. So why aren't we taking every opportunity to develop new cures and save millions of lives with the latest advances in stem cell research? Primarily because vested interest groups object to any use of fetal stem cells in research. Some groups object on the grounds that it's the first step to genetically engineering the perfect human, and we will be genetically enhancing children to give them an advantage over non-genetically engineered ones. This would produce a social class of genetically disadvantaged children. But that's like saying we should never have cured polio because we produced a class in society that would no longer be afflicted by it, but the people who were already afflicted were in some way a lower social group and disadvantaged over those who received the vaccine in time. Even if you can make a case for those afflicted by polio having a disadvantage in life compared to those who didn't get the disease, you cannot seriously be suggesting we should never have developed and used the vaccine. So putting aside the religious groups for a moment, I have actually had people say to me that they wouldn't want a cure developed for their chronic or life-limiting condition because they feel that the disease defines them, and without it, they would be a nobody, and for that reason, they are totally against any stem cell research, as it would take away other people's sense of belonging if their diseases were cured. So leaving aside the incredibly selfish aspects of this position, it isn't a minority opinion. I have received this reply more than 100 times when I ask people with chronic conditions and their families about stem cell and gene therapy. So, it would appear that the groups in society that want to prevent science from curing terminal illnesses are not just those religious zealots who have by far the loudest voices, but everyday folk who feel that they too should have the right to deny treatment to everyone else because they don't want it. So, my question: why do we allow selfish and self-interested groups to dictate and demand that life-saving therapy not be researched? because they feel that they hold the moral and spiritual high ground and have the absolute right to demand that thousands of other people die to justify their self-righteous attitudes. Again, I have to remind everyone that these are my opinions. If you don't agree, that is fine. But please don't just say that it's wrong and scientists can't be trusted not to turn into Victor Frankenstein overnight if we deregulate fetal stem cell research. If we allow scientists to develop deadly toxins with little to no serious regulatory oversight, as we do with the pharmaceutical and cosmetic industry, then surely we can put enough oversight in place to allow geneticists and biomedical researchers to develop cures using the God-given building blocks of life. I hear the argument that a fetus is life in the eyes of the Lord, and life is sacrosanct, but if it's so sacrosanct, why don't they allow the talent, knowledge and humanity given to every one of the Lord's creations to save millions of innocent human lives? A single fetus could supply enough stem cells to save hundreds of lives and cure thousands of diseases. But here's the bit that the pressure groups and holier-than-thou folk don't want you to know. Every day in the UK, hundreds of embryos are just flushed down the drain. These embryos were put in frozen storage by women for many reasons, but each of them could be used to cure hundreds of diseases and save millions of lives. Those who have watched my other Talking Heads videos know that I like to state the obvious because it's often not that obvious. So given that the religious and pressure groups consider life to be sacrosanct, the only life lost if we don't allow these embryos to be used are the lives of the millions of people who die from the diseases that could be cured. The thousands of embryonic cells that could be used in research are going to get flushed away anyway, so why not allow them to be used to save millions of innocent lives? Here's the other thing, and I have touched on this in my organ and tissue donation video. Even if a woman donates all her organs and tissues to science upon her death, any fetal matter or embryos must be destroyed and cannot be used to save thousands of lives. Yet another one of God's sacrosanct lives gone, along with the chance to save millions of lives. Looking a little hypocritical, this life is sacrosanct position, clearly not all life is. Maybe it's all God's plan, but you see, if you truly believe that argument, then you also have to believe that God constructed us in such a way as to make all life evolve from stem cells. Which begs the question, why did God give us the knowledge, skill and initiative to see his stem cell method as life-saving in the first place? Okay, enough from me. So, that's the big question. If you have anything to say, you know what to do. If you don't like my conclusions, leave a comment and tell me why. If you have any ideas about how we can progress this issue, please do leave your comments below, and if you like this video, please click like. If you don't like this video, click like anyway. Just do it ironically, and don't forget to subscribe to keep up with Keith. Thanks for watching guys, and please find time to watch some of my other videos.